Welcome back to the March update for Cash Flow Chronicles. Let's take a look at the account. Here and there I did a little bit of live stream, some updates on things, mostly just been trading crypto, working on my main business. So we had a few minor hits. So like SHIB, we grabbed SHIB at whatever it was, 5,714 in, and then sold for 74.11. So we made a little bit of money there. Let's see. I forget how I got to there. But anyway, so that one brought us up to 5,000, from 5,000 to 7,000 a trade. And then we stuck that into what? Something else. Anyway. Oh yeah, GST. So with that 5,000 whatever to the 7,000 sell, I had a couple other things sell that brought me up to 14,000. So we stuck that 14,000 into GST on 3-4. And then also on 3-4. We sold that for 17,182, so about another 3,000 gain. And then we stuck that 17 into SHIB again, looking at hitting 20 for about another, roughly just about 2,800, 3,000 whatever gain. That's probably going to hit it. We'll see. We had a bunch of money sitting around. I had to cancel. It was in like Fox and some other stuff. So let's just look at my watch list. It's been growing. I got to prune it soon. AIOZ, always a great performer. Lots of ups and downs, lots of opportunity to make money in. Fox is what I was after. SEI as well. Any of those I could have stuck it in. She was a little slower. I bought a little too soon. I was sleepy, had some stuff to do. If you watch the live streams, and it talked about that. Anything on my list here, though, big time is it's ready to go to $1 again. It's taking its time. Jasmine, I've made a ton of money, but that's a long-term hold. ENJ is getting closer to my sell. I could sell it now and then stick that into something else. Qui is where I've been buried forever and a day. That's almost back to break even, but I think I'm going to get the gains on it at some point. So if that sells, we'll get about $24,000 back out of that. And then once the SHIB sells for 20, that'll let us swing 44,000 on a trade or split that up between a few trades. Perp's always pretty good walker for us, but we just never quite catch it right. We're already into something. Rose has been a steady gainer since like 4 cents. We've been watching that. Math is setting back up. Hopper. Made money in Hopper and something else down the road there. And some GST has just totally faded off. Thank God we got out of that. That was amazing, right? Demo. I've been trying to hit Demo forever. I never get the good lineup, but I just seen Demo in the list. I'll take a look real quick. Demo is at 52. It's probably, let's see, let's just look at the charting. Demo. So, purple's all-time high there for us. Inside the red bands, it was like where we were trading, and then we had knocked off, like where the good highs and lows were. That was the reason that was the other top band. We had been looking for, once that bull completed, that if it had that overshoot, if it faded back off and down, we'd work our way back through the bands and up. It just basically found support, one leg down, and then on the next bounce, it found support at the top. Probably the next time it comes down to 39 area, or maybe 31 area, I'm probably pretty interested in it, and maybe trying to ride it to 84. Demo at some point, I'll get my 5, 10, 20%, 100%, depends on what's going on. Demo is a potential for, if it lines up just right when we sell SHIB and Qui, to drop that 40 grand in and go 40 to 80. That would be fantastic. But if we just went 10% and made 4 grand, that's fine too. But I'd like to make it on Fox. Fox has got the best chance right now. Cycles are a little faster. Where is shape-shifting Fox? Where are you? There you are. And I missed this. You can see I canceled it down here. I wanted to jump over into something else. I've got a little bit of something open on the USDC. I'm trading for the college account for the nephew over the next 20 years till he gets into college. I tried to get a 789 fill. I had to let it go. It never really came back down. It has come back down now. But what made me mad with Fox was I had a long range buy sitting at, where was it? And I had to chase it up a little bit, and then I finally got max. I don't chase. I chased just enough. 647. I had bitched on the live streams that it came all the way down to 648 and missed my fill. Pissed me off because then it went obviously to this. And I've been stalking this for a while for that to happen, and this is what happened. And I missed it by 1/100 of a penny. Man, that feels like really bad. So where was it at? 607. Where was that? Anyway, you can go back and roll through the charts and look at it. So it missed me, and then it went on for the run, and I thought, man, that's really balls. So I chased it a few more times. Look, it might have been right there. 654, it says 651. Okay, there it is right there. So 648, that's the candle. And I had a 647 set if you look at the low. And I was like, I'm going to get, you know, a fat percentage on this. Oh well, you know, 6 to 14 would have been nice. 6 to 12 would have been nice. So we're looking at the reset. I'm hoping this rejects right here. It comes back down to 7. My actual 593 go line we were talking about before never hit there. That's why I started chasing a little bit. If it gets back down into one of these 3 spots, I'll definitely throw the 40 in there, and I will probably hold it for, you know, a month or so, whatever it's going to take to get there. If it's looking really strong, ooh, that would be nice. I'm looking for 15, 21, 28. It would be optimal if I could get it at 40 at around 7 cents and ride that to 28. That'd be a real nice hit. Above that, too, if this just kind of grinds up slow, you know, maybe over the next month, April 15th, then around the halving, once alt season really kicks in, I can see this going to 50 cents and more. Maybe $1, but I'll trade it. I'll get rid of it before then. But the real go line is 80 cents, but that's going to take a little bit of time unless halving really kicks in. So we've made about $7,000 this month so far on a kind of smaller amount to trade. If we can get our stuff back into, let's see, what was the other thing we're looking at? AIOZ or something like that. Should be able to juice those up a little bit at 10%. If we can get our big time back. Big time should give us $1 soon, and I think my blended total is, hopefully, because it's been a while, so I'd have to actually go into those, but I think this one is a 34-cent buy, the other one's like a 36-cent buy, so I've got a total, if it hits up to around the $1 mark, 7,000 there, and I just dumped that too, so probably around $12,000. This is looking pretty good to check for 80 soon. It might fade off just one more time, 2 more times, and then we look like we're headed up. $1.20, $1.59 are in the future soon. So if we just kind of take these and let's do this. Boop. And then we take this bad boy here and kind of go like this. So we can already kind of see that pretty much is the bottom right in there. If it broke back down from there, I would be talking something different on a future video. But as it stands, overall, it had that massive run on super high volume. It's slowly been fading off. People have been taking their gains. More people have been earning tokens. And it's starting to grind back up. So if it starts to just keep following the same, you know, time frame and pattern, let's see, you know, we got halving coming up, though, obviously. Halving could push it to 150 or halving could tank it to 28. If it's just going to grind along into April, we're looking at around 75 cents, somewhere around halving. If we can get a few nice ramps of 5-10 cents here and there that hold, then we could go hop, hop, hop. We could be, you know, maybe at closer to 85 to maybe testing the underside of 1 around the same time. And if we could get 12, 15 cent hops, we could definitely be around the over $1 mark. And then we could say, hey, we're testing from above for support. And then we could basically head on to like $6. $6 is a reality, I think, for big time. That's probably the proper spot for it, given the overall arcing, the launch, just the way everything has been going. Something bad would have to happen for it to return it back to like a sub, you know, 20%, 20 cent token. And I don't see that happening just yet, but, you know, if it happens, it happens. All things stay the same. Gravity stays the same. We're looking at grinding off into around the $1.60 around June 24th, probably. That's, you know, the same steady declination. So moving on from big time. Let's see. SEI has been a good player for us. SEI is very volatile. Boop, boop, boop. It's got a lot of 10% moves, you know, in a couple days here and there. Let's drop down to the daily. SEI has pretty much went everywhere we trotted off and looked for. It's had massive volume come in. It had a nice pullback, nice volume pullback. Made a newer high on even less volume. Nice pullback, a little bit of lower volume there, a little bit of sell-off, got a little higher, and it's grinding right back up. So where's the next logical spot? 54 if it fails, and then should be soon, because $1 might reject it, and if it does, that'll hurt. People will probably sell off that maybe were holding in here for the $1 check, and then it wasn't low enough here to shake them out. Volume is pretty low. They probably held on. Looks like they didn't really sell out really here either because the volume wasn't crazy. It looks like people really are expecting what I'm expecting, which is much higher. There's no chart to the left, so it's hard to say like, well, in the past it's been $4. $4 is fair. Same thing though, if we just kind of look at, you know, this, boop, that kind of pretty much being the all-time trend change and low there. Pretty much everything bottomed out in October, November. And then you start that ramp. Well, that ramp's looking pretty good, right? Minus it coming back down a little lower, but it's following that EMA. You're looking at, if it just stays on trend, same speed, same whatever, we'll get to $1.40 around, you know, summertime, July, August, something in there. If it breaks down under here, then all bets are off. It's headed back down, you know, 35 cents, you know, something terrible. But we got a big event with halving coming up right in here. So around that time, we could be anywhere between 77 cents and maybe $1.40. That's probably logical. If we hit $1.40 and everything went crazy, I'd expect it to come back down to the trend line, to the mean, and just kind of continue to grind on. Out into the next year, after most halvings, that next Christmas is usually fantastic before stuff starts to tank. Let's go ahead and carry that out to Christmas, $2. So SEI is probably in the $2 range if all things stay the same. So that's fair. Let's jump into Jasmy. Jasmy is one of my favorites, obviously. I was complaining it hadn't been moving, and I said, man, this just is ridiculous. And then finally, look at that movement. Same thing when it was selling off. Just selling off, high volume. Tried to sell off there, pretty much absorbed, didn't really go too much lower, but that pretty much is the bottom area. Now we're perking back up. Perking back up logicals are 4 cents. Obviously right around 6 cents. Clearly right in there. Let's see what's fair. I mean, logical right there is around just under 10, so call it 10 cents roughly. The underside of 10. Right there's a triple line up from above and below, 12.9, 13 cents-ish. Lots of good congestion in this box right here. So let's say probably somewhere right in there, 18 cents. Probably when it broke down sub 20, probably people freaked the fuck out. Gave it one little bounce. When it came back through, it tried right there, and like that was it. Like 20 cents was just the death of it. So let's see if it even hit 20 that day. It looks like it went to 19 cents. It couldn't even break 20. It was just, you know, lower highs all the way through, minus that one little shot. And as soon as that started lower highs, that was just the end of it. So on the other side of the chart, once we start grinding out of the bottom of that bull, the same thing logically happens on this side. It tries 6, it falls back down. It tries 9, it falls back down a little bit. It tries 12, but it starts making higher highs, right? With a little bit of, you know, higher lows. Gets to 18. 18 is probably the super danger area for it because that's really, you know, 20 cents is going to be pretty big around that time. And if we look at time to there, where the run actually started, that lift is looking pretty good because this particular token stayed flat for so damn long. There really is no bottom there other than it's like possibly like little in there, little in there. It's like it was so tight. It really was just an entire accumulation box. And it accumulated so hard that now that it's going up, it looks like it's going to go up pretty good. 18 cents is very logical. Let's go ahead and look again at like 23 to 25. If you start backing out, it's pretty decent, right? And our all-time right there on this particular chart, even though there's higher other places, is up in the 35 cent range. All right. So there's our bottom, there's our top. Graduating scale to play in between. Our time slope, as long as all things stay the same. So by 2025, and maybe even prior around halving, we could look anywhere between 6 and 18 cents. If things go really crazy and it starts to, you know, maybe bust one of these into halving, and it starts to ramp, you know, maybe a little faster and a little higher, we could be looking at 18 cents just around after halving. I doubt it goes vertical, but it is possible with Jasmy because if you look back in the past, it is a vertical coin. And if it did just go vertical, 23 to 25 is probably logical. Good place to take stuff off, take some gains. That's kind of what I'm looking at. I'm going to leave this in the chart so when we come back, we'll kind of know what we're looking at. Let's see. What else is there to look at? AIOZ, steady player. That thing has been adding 10 cents here, 20 cents there, giving it back, and just giving you so many chances to just, grind up, like right here. 10 cents, inside of 1 month from like the 19th, to like around the 19th. Gave you 60%. Beautiful. And if you kept on a little longer for a second month, it gave you a lot of gains. But it's been doing that. It's been, boxing, popping, pulling back a little bit, consolidating, boxing, popping, consolidating. Never have been a big fan of the exact way this went. This is what I said about the verticals. Like, could Jasmine do that as well? It sure could. I think it's more dangerous, though, because if people lose interest, all of a sudden something else hotter on the scene comes by. They tend to break down the same way. Pew, pew, pew. And that kind of sucks versus, like a slow graduating thing where you could decide to add more and average down or just cut your loss. But we are at pretty much the high right now, 49. It's in blue sky territory. So would I really want to get into AIOZ? No, not here. I'd like to get it at 16. Maybe 8. And if the run was starting then, like around April, I'd stay in it to... logically, the way this has been looking, $4. I think 4 and 9 are logical for AIOZ, potentially, during alt season. During off season, I think potentially, 61 cents down to 8 is probably your range. But we're hitting Golden Bull Run. It's coming up. So let's say that's the big target. All right, so let's move on from AIOZ. GST is the weirdest token. It's like sweat token. I made a few thousand out of it. I'm very, very thankful and happy. Let's go see what exactly we did make. So 14 to 17 is like, what, 3,000 and a few bucks and change. We did that from 3-4. We entered at 22-21, and we got out, well, pretty fast. So let's see. We got our VPVA running there. So I've been looking for logical pullbacks, and there you go. It's getting into that field of would I go again? I'd probably go again where the run started, or the big run started, right? These are big runs back then too, because you're talking, 0.008, not even a penny, up to 3 cents. That's a move, man. That's a real big move. But you're talking going all the way up to 14 cents again. If you could get in at 3.6, 3.5, even up into this high side of like 1.9, even 1.9 to like 1.6 or to 6.5 check, that's a lot of movement. I don't like the token though. I think it's kind of stupid. I looked at the fundamentals on it, what people were doing, and everyone's about it. But Sweat Token didn't do anything either. Like, people generally aren't about exercise. It's a New Year's thing, and I feel like the New Year's just hit. People had all their resolutions, and they saw this, and they're like, oh, it's so amazing. I can get paid to work out. Like, people don't really like working out. So I'm just a chart trader on this. I don't believe in the underlying project whatsoever. It could go to 20 bucks for all I know. Do I see it going to 20 bucks? No, I think it's fucking stupid. But it's got a great chart, and it's got movement, so... And it's got a lot of people believing it. There's a lot of volume, so it's there. Tia's still something I haven't been able to hit, but it's been on my list for the longest time. It's a good mover. It even went above our top level of where we were after. Beautiful coin. Just hasn't come back down to line up when I had money in the account, but my actual go areas are like right there. 850s and what is this, 750s. I would be kind of confident to get in there because if it faded off to 490, I don't really care so much because I know it's going to climb back up at least to the check 10, or at least that's where the chart talks. So right now, if this faded back off to 10, I might hit 10, try to hit 10 to 14, grab a little 40%er because that feels like the way it's going. And the reason I say that is like this, boop, right? This is pretty much where it broke down. And same thing, you're talking about that high. So if we carry that out logically, because this went a little higher, but it wasn't high enough to keep going, and it lost momentum right there. So right now it's retracing. People are taking gains. Volume's not real high. So I can see people just slowly bleeding this off to like 1045 potentially. If the chart plays out like this, then if it comes back to around 1045 and it goes sideways for a bit and then starts to ramp back up, I'm good. I would be okay with taking that. I have more confidence. If it kept going at that crux on down to like 7, I'd be more confident at 7. But this could likely just kind of meander exactly right around where it is now at 16 and then just take off to like 28. I think 28 is logical for this coin. So we'll say that's probably our target area. Nope. No, thank you. Let's change that. Let's go back here. Let's change that. That's probably our big target area, right? With 24 also being acceptable. And at least coming back up and checking the high of underside of 21. So if you had money in it and you started seeing getting close to 20 and 21, and it's over 20 whole dollar, I'd probably take some gains. So those are my big areas, and then my big entry area is either going to be actually right there at consolidation through. I'd be okay at like 1177, maybe 12. So I'd probably be looking for a play from 12 to 21 if this, like I said, comes down right around here and then starts to grind back up. It's a beautiful play. It's a long-term play. That's a play I wouldn't take with $3,000 or $4,000, but if I can get all my money back and I'm around $200,000, then I'm okay scaling in because the volume's only $10 million today and scaling out over, a month. Because if I could get, 40% on, $200,000, I'm pretty happy with that. Let's see, what else are we looking at for bigger gainers, longer term spell, more of a small play. Can't trust spell. Rose is fantastic. I think Rose has so much potential. Rose is also something that you could hit with bigger money and be safely in and out. They don't have a lot of volume, but if you can get in with like, 40,000 here, 80,000 there. In general, I think Rose still heads on up. Everybody has that same dip on the chart the other day. Maybe 15 is a good entry level again. 15 to 11 is a good entry level. And then grinding up to 23. That leaves you a lot of range. And realistically, Rose is trying to hit, 23 again. It looks like it really wants to check 11 cents. So what, 11 to maybe 19 or even 11 to 15? Maybe you could even get 2 plays, 3 plays out of that. If you could get in at 11-ish, sell at 15, get back in at 11, get out, maybe 19, in at 15, out at 25, 23, whatever. That's a lot of mileage versus just saying I'm going to get at 11 and sell at, 19 or 20. And you may ride this all over the place because it is very choppy. And that's what I like about Rose too, is that it's a solid project and it feels like people are coming in, getting their gains and getting out and moving on to something else. And the holders, the people that believe in it, because it is a quality project, they're just kind of hanging out. They're keeping it stable as they can. And the people that are day trading it are making it look like this, all choppy and crazy. And that's good. Volatility is where the money's at for a day trader or even a swing trader. All right, what else we got? Orca. Yeah, Orca's been on my list. I love Orca. It just, again, hasn't lined up for me to make any gains off of. Every time we get ready to put something in, it's either pulling back or it's already peaking out and I don't have, anything to do with it. ENJ, love the ENJ. It just moves way too slow. ENJ probably needs to come off my list in general. Sin's a good popper and dropper if you got the patience for it and catch it just right. Honey is more of a very, very slow pop, kind of a quick drop, and then meanders again. Look at Honey one more time because Honey's got potential. And again, obviously, up here at 36 cents is probably what we're really after, right? We're not going to purple that because it's not the all-time high, but I also don't like the way it looks. So that's probably our, hey, get out of Dodge, take your gains and get out, and then find out what this weird one-day candle is going to do. So is Honey in a good spot? Sure. I still think it could fade off past 15 and go lower. I don't know much about the project. Don't really believe in what I have seen. It's whatever. But 15, 14, 13, maybe 12 area would be an optimal entry for to ride in that pop after all this consolidation, and maybe up to 31 cents. What else we got? if we can get our SHIB sell, where are we going to go? We're almost back to break even on SHIB on this particular trade. Let's take a look at that. So we're in at 33.91. We're back to 33.92 prints right now, so we're at dead break even. If I saw something else running right now that's fantastic, I just cut this for fees. I just get out. And we're gonna look at the chart. Maybe I still need to just cut it for fees and run because Fox is setting up. But how does she really look? Well, not fantastic, right? It's finally decided to grind out. There's been fantastic news. It's running on news. It's running into the halving. It sounds great. Its all-time high is just double above this high at a little over 0.00008. So let's just call it 8 because I don't talk about them zeros. Let's see if we can pull that up. There we go. Basically, the high is just right there, you know, at the 9. But what did we get? So the high did hit 9. And then it looked like the secondary on the reject was 88 and 88.94. And that basically failed the 9 check. And it just went from absolute listing to death to recheck to death. And it's been a slow death ever since. That was the end of, you know, crypto bull run and into the crypto winter. It's had a lot of time to consolidate. So I do expect to see things like this, but I also don't think that by any means it can sustain that or not do the same thing in reverse and just go pop off. So we want to make our money and go. Here's what really confirmed that this was a good move. There's the volume. It is there. Here's a little consolidation. If we can see a little bit of a pullback, maybe into 27 and low volume, and then start to ramp into high volume, I'd say we're going to hit 7 pretty soon. 7 would be great. Chart in general looks pretty good. If we look at the pullback on the dailies, the pullback volume is also low. So it's not getting too crazy. That old Darth Maul there, that's the market maker checking direction. And the problem is that candle's high volume. So they pretty much have to bleed it off to get some sellers out of the way because there's people either trying to take gains or they're just in the way in general. That candle, if it comes on like this kind of volume, generally means that it's clear to go the direction they want to go. So if they were trying to go down, it would mean that there's no one below. No one really cares. No one wants to get in the way of them. If they're trying to go up, there's no one sitting there with supply trying to dump on them. There is a problem there. So we may see a little more down. So I said 2,700, 22 might be in the cards. But I would like to just get out right there at what I'm looking for is 39.96. I just won about $3,000. And that's based on this holding and giving one more underside check before it fails. It could just fail before that, but I'm okay holding it in general because, again, we're close to halving, and this is going to go back to check its high. Do I want to go on multiple extra rides to get there? I do not, but I feel I am pretty safe in general. What's going on with anything else important? Fetch, man, I trade Fetch at like sub penny. That's crazy. It was just a day trader though. JTO I've never hit. It's on the chart, still on the chart. You see it's even setting up. Should it still be on our watch list? I didn't even mark it up. I don't know what it's doing on our watch list. I don't know why it's on the watch list. Maybe because it was a lister that popped. It was probably a lister that popped. And we were supposed to come back to look at it after we watched the videos. There's our low, 31s. Mid-range is... Okay, so it's just above mid-range and it's found footing. So probably 250 area, back up to 4 is probably potential. What else we got? Yeah, probably the 2 zone. So somewhere between 2 and maybe even the dip, 175 just for the check before it pushes up. Because I don't like the way those wickings look right there. They look a little soft. But the pullback doesn't have to go that far to find, volume to go to 4. So JTO, and again, it's experimental. Volume is decent today. And it's got 5% range, and we're really looking for 5 to 6% trades. 100 of them makes a millionaire. ENS has been a good grinder. Doesn't go very far when it goes, though. It's like 3% here, 12% there, back down to 14%. Like it's a back burner play if you've got nothing else going on. ENS is solid, but it's not super solid. Same as Spell. Vara. Vara's sub 10 cents. I don't like where it's sitting. And as I said that, I don't feel that way about Fox, though, because Fox has already crested over. What has Vara done, though? Okay, it looks like... Oh, yeah, this is why we didn't like it. Because it pops, drops, pops, drops, pop, drops, pop, drop, pops, drops, pops, and drops. I think we talked about another video that I felt like the next time it popped, I want to see how far it dropped. Because it could have caused a real bad fade off. It just doesn't look wonderful. Like, there's that time where you get in at a support and you're like, yeah, it's going to pop. And that time it breaks away like, I don't know. Again, it's like a C grade play. It's on there if I've got nothing else to do and if I was sitting around all day long on my own so that it couldn't surprise me, or I ran a stop out, which I don't like to do, I would run that on Vara. Boba. Dang, Boba's up 25. Dang, Boba. Every time I try to hit Boba, I'm just never lined up right. AMP, we are up on AMP. Let's go see what we're up. Not a lot, but we are trying to go 100% trade on AMP. It's not quite working out. We're trying to get an 832 sell. Got up to 60 the other day. We are in at 376, I do believe. So we were looking for an 883. So I put in an 832 just in case it got close. But even beyond that, I was okay holding when I was talking on that video, because the up aboves are, 4 cents, 5 cents, up to 12 cents. We're over here at sub penny. So I feel the way this chart's playing out, it may go longer than I want, but I've got a chance to get out at like 5 cents. So we may put big money into AMP eventually too, given the chart. Say we got up to 200,000. AMP is a forerunner for something to sit around for 4 or 5 months and try to get 100% trade on. All right, let's get back to SHIB. Where are we at? Let's drop down the time frames. It's trying, but there's not a lot of expansion in those candles. So that's grinding. So it might take, let's see, what's the grind been looking like over 4 days? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, it hasn't found its retrace yet. It hasn't found its retrace legs like this. Popped, kind of retraced, and then found its next leg. This is not finding legs yet, but it looks like legs are at 3 and 27 though. Yeah, it just doesn't look fantastic. It looks good for going up eventually, but I definitely got in too early. I just needed someplace to park the money, and it was like the best option at the time. And it turned out to be like not the most optimal choice, but it'll work out. All right. So that's good. We're at break even. Is there anything that we need to go look at on the full-blown markets that dictate that we ditch this trade immediately? AIOZ is already up 54%. We've missed that trade. AST, don't know a lot about it, but it's up 49 on 6 million. That's pretty far. TVK we've tried to catch several times. Just not been working out. Boba, 2.3 million. Fox is just getting into it. If it goes over 10, then it goes to 14. If it rejects a 10, it goes back to 7. So I can't justify breaking that trade apart. ERN, don't know them. Horn, don't know them, don't care. SEI, very familiar, but coming up on the other side of a dollar test. So eventually it's going to tighten up and shoot way over $1. But today, being up 17%, 67 million volume, today is probably not the day. There's other runners that people can fuck with for 54%. I don't see people just dumping in, another $100 million to make SEI go over $1 to reject. Could be wrong, but don't feel like it today. Anchor, good project in general. Slow grinding. Glad I own a bunch. Well, I'm sorry I don't own a bunch. You've seen what I own, but a bit. But I would have no problem adding a bunch more. But $27 million to move 16%, it's not that impressive. ACH, great project. Also like them, down at 3 cents. Probably goes to probably $1. Let's take a look at them again. If ACH gets everything in its act together, $1 is pretty logical for them based on what they do. So you're already starting to hit probably, that might fade back off before the halving. That would suck. them up real quick. What we got? 14 cents is logical. Buy. Let's see. What are we looking at here? That's too slow moving. Some news would have to come out that would just really change the trajectory. It's too slow. Probably $1 by Christmas, maybe. So we're going to pass. But ACH is a great project. There's just stuff that's moving better. Bonk, I don't know, man. I'm not even really into SHIB or Doge either. It's just the charts are moving. Not about these meme coins, but if they're moving 10, 20, 30%, and they can consistently do that and hold their value, then I'm down. All right, so it looks like there's nothing to pull off for exactly. SHIB's already on the rise, 11%. So if it gets some volume, it'll probably go where we're going. They might rerun, you know, a 50%er today. That'll take us to get our 3,000 gains, and out we go. And then over to Fox. Velo. I do want to hit Velo, but not yet. What's on pullback setting up for us? Arrow, GST. GST is setting back up. I said I hate the fucking project though. The passion, ugh, just garbage. Sin setting back up. Hopper is setting back up. Hopper made us good money. Okay, that's probably what we're looking at in the video here. Thanks, made about 7,000 so far this week. If we make some more, great. If not, well, then we'll make a video next month. Thanks for watching.